Hello, you're tuning into the English News Bulletin here on VTV International. I'm Dương here in Hanoi, and in the following, we'll take a look at the headlines for this hour. An interview with the Deputy Foreign Minister Phạm Quang Vinh on ASEAN events. Later on, we'll take a look at how tourists to the central coastal city of Da Nang are on the surge. Now, a Vietnamese delegation led by Deputy Foreign Minister Phạm Quang Vinh has been attending a series of events, including the ASEAN Senior Officials Meeting, the East Asia Summit, the ASEAN Regional Forum, and the ASEAN-US Dialogue held in Yangon of Myanmar. Now, during these events, the escalating tensions in the EC topped the agenda. VTV interviewed Deputy Minister Vinh right after the discussion ended.
Could you share with us the viewpoints of ASEAN members and partners in the current situation in the EC during your meetings in Myanmar?
It was clear at these meetings that all participating countries are concerned over the tensions and complications in the EC. They also put great emphasis on the need for restraint and compliance with international laws, the United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea, or UNCLOS, and the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the EC, or DOC. Many countries raised objections to the use of unilateral measures, coercive acts, and the use of force to claim sovereignty. Participants also expressed their expectations of building a peaceful, stable environment with security and maritime safety in the EC. Their biggest worry is the complications that have occurred since China deployed the Haiyang Shiyou-Na Erdogan oil rig and vessels, and they want this issue to be solved immediately.
At the 27th ASEAN-US Dialogue, ASEAN representatives once again raised their serious concerns over the current situation in the EC. What was the US reaction to this?
First of all, the U.S. agreed with ASEAN viewpoints, especially the statements of ASEAN foreign ministers on May 10th about what is going on in the EC. Secondly, the U.S. said that it has held conversations with many countries, including China, to express its concerns and expectations of maintaining peace and stability in the region. Thirdly, the U.S. has called for ASEAN and China to complete the Code of Conduct in the EC, or COC, and stop complicating the situation in the area. It stated that the country does not take sides in this dispute over territorial sovereignty, but affirm its national interest related to maritime safety and security in the EC.
Through this series of ASEAN summits of senior officials, what was Vietnam's most important message?
Vietnam's views and policies on the EC issues have been made clear. Vietnam has clearly proved China's violations. Vietnam's foreign policies is always focused on protecting the sovereignty and maintaining dialogue with China, as well as resolving any issues according to international laws. At this summit, we highlighted our policy to other countries, including China, and asked China to withdraw its oil rig from Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. This will help maintain regional peace and stability, as well as relieve current tensions.
Thank you very much for the interview.
Chairman of the Central Committee of the Vietnamese Fatherland Front, Nguyễn Thiện Nhân, met with the Vietnam Fisheries Society on Tuesday to discuss support for the 1.3 million fishermen who remain at sea. At the meeting, Mr. Nhân said he would ask the government to provide support to help 220 coastal communes escape poverty. He asked the Vietnam Fisheries Society to engage more in protecting the legitimate rights of fishermen and businesses in the field. He also told them to find more suitable policies regarding aquaculture, offshore fishing, disaster prevention, and safeguarding the nation's sovereignty. Now, the price of Vietnamese tuna fish is now considered quite low compared to other countries because of the poor quality of the country's tuna fishing equipment and preservation methods. However, the central southern province of Bình Định is expecting to achieve a breakthrough, as it is now the first province in Vietnam to apply advanced Japanese tuna fishing techniques. Now, this will promote the tuna fishing industry in the central southern region of Vietnam.
This new fishing tuna equipment on a fishing ship in Hoài Nhơn district, Bình Định province. When fish bite, this equipment will pull the fish and weaken them slowly. Previously, fishermen had to pull fish manually and use a wood tool to hit the fish. The fish fought aggressively and took longer to die, causing the fish to be worthless.
They told us that it's very useful and powerful. We just received it yesterday and haven't used it yet, but I think fishing will be a lot easier with this equipment.
Bình Định province sent 4 experienced tuna fishermen to Japan to study their fishing techniques and fish preservation methods. The province also spent over $70,000 to purchase the equipment for 5 tuna fishing ships. Japanese experts have also come to instruct Vietnamese fishermen. They hope that after 10 days fishing, local fishermen will have grasped the advantages of the new equipment.
This technique keeps tuna fish fresh. Bình Định province has chosen us as partners to have Vietnamese fishermen to apply this new technique. If they apply this technique properly, Vietnamese tuna fish consumption in Japan will be very high. The support of the government and provincial authorities really encourages fishermen. This can be seen through tuna and fish catch production in the first 5 months this year, with a production of roughly 70,000 tons. Last year, it was only around 60,000 tons.
At the equipment handover ceremony, Bank for Investment and the Development of Vietnam, Vietnam's Shipbuilding Industry Corporation, and Seafood Enterprises signed a cooperation agreement. According to this agreement, they will join hands to build modern fishing vessels and further promote tuna exports to Japan.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
You're back here on VTV News. Earlier on Wednesday, National Assembly deputies resumed their Q&A session with Minister of Finance Đinh Tiến Dũng regarding matters related to the financial sector. On the table were issues related to the improper management of public investment, tax breaks, transfer pricing, bad debt, and public debt.
National Assembly deputies expressed concerns over the nation's capacity to pay public debt, especially in the current adverse economic and political context, and deputies asked if the Ministries of Finance has come up with solutions to deal with these issues.
According to your report, the minister has issued instructions to increase the state budget to pay off the public debt. Given the ongoing tensions in the East Sea, economic growth could be affected. What would be your response to this? We may need to tighten expenses and join hands to commit the target. The National Assembly should also ratify this resolution to speed up the process.
In view of China's deployment of the Haiyang Shuyou 981 oil rig in Vietnamese waters, the minister also faced questions regarding Vietnam's economic dependence on China.
Vietnam's debts to China are not too high. In terms of stock, Chinese investment in Vietnam stock exchanges only account for 0.33%. That is not a big figure. Economic cooperation between Vietnam and China is law-based. In case of loss, both countries have to suffer. So Vietnam is not economically dependent on China.
In order to balance incomes and expenses and the country's ability to pay the debts, Minister Dương also recommended that the National Assembly support solutions to mobilize capital to restructure domestic debt.
Cồn Cỏ Island covers roughly 3 square kilometers and is located about 17 nautical miles off the coast of Quảng Trị province. The small island seems to be overwhelmed by the vast ocean. But despite the severe weather there, people here have been making their lives full of joy and vitality.
The hot suns, ocean wind, bumpy rocks, and dry sands on this remote island are a challenge for the people who live here. However, looking at these plants going into harvest season, we can see that their efforts have succeeded in creating life here.
In order to plant crops here, we need to clear away the rocks and bumpy surface to make room for soil that is sent out from the mainland along with fertilizer.
Rồi là cả cái trồng cải thì hầu như cũng phải là nhờ cái đất từ.
Cồn Cỏ Island residents have a long tradition of fighting severe national conditions and maintaining their proud lives on the island. Many residents here have become national heroes for their efforts to protect the nation's sovereignty over its territorial seas.
Residents here are the main folks protecting the island. There are numerous difficulties here, but it will soon improve, especially when we receive support from the mainland. We hope to relocate more people to the island in order to exploit the area's full potential. The island is developing through manufacturing, tourism, and services.
Cồn Cỏ Island is a beautiful picture of harmony between nature and people, despite the severe conditions in the vast seas, and people here proudly go about their daily lives effortlessly on one of the country's most remote islands.
Now, Da Nang welcomed 1.3 million tourist arrivals in the first 5 months of the year, which is up 15.6% compared to the same period of last year. This is according to the Da Nang City Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism. Among the 1.3 million visitors, over 400,000 were foreign guests, an increase of 19% over the same period of last year. Da Nang's total revenue from the tourism in the first 5 months is estimated at nearly $1.65 million. However, the number of visitors from Singapore, the UK, the United States, France, Japan, and China has all fallen by around 5 to 10% since mid-May. Now, this decline is attributed to due to the shortage of multilingual tour guides and slow construction of ports and other facilities. And now we'll take a look at your updated weather forecasts. And that also marks the end of this edition of VTV News. We'll be back with later bulletins, the scheduling, and for more updated news, do log on to vtv4.vn. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye for now.